Hi there, in today's video, I'll be walking you through how I made this guitar Afrobeat for Fola in FL Studio, and without further ado, let's get started. So the very first thing to note is that our tempo is going to be somewhere between 90 to 100 because we don't want something so fast. So I used 95 BPM. And I started with this jazz guitar that sounds like this. And this jazz guitar was gotten from Flex plugin, a stock plugin inside of FL Studio, and I'm using the preset called Jazz Guitar. I haven't played this amazing guitar chord. I sent it to the mixer and then added some couple of effects. The very first effect I added is this Cymatics Pluto, and I added that plugin so as to give it some chorus effects and some modulation effects. And having done that, I also added this parametric EQ to cut out the low end. And lastly, I added some reverb. I'm using the Fola Vintage Verb, which is such an amazing reverb plugin. So next up, I added this Pizzicato sound from Flex plugin again, and it sounds like this. And similar to what I did to the Flex jazz guitar, I sent it to the mixer also and then added some couple of reverb to it just to give it that ambience that it needs. And also what I did was to cut some of the low ends, increase the high mid, and then boost the high frequency also. So the jazz guitar and the pizzicato sounds like this. Next up, I added these chords from a plugin called Spire, and it sounds like this. And it sounds like this in context with the other two sounds I played earlier. I haven't added all of this. I still wanted the beat to have some emotions in it, and I went ahead to add some chords and a violin lead melody. And what I added was this pad just to give it, that ambience also. Sounds like this. And the name of this plugin is called Nexus, and the current preset I'm using is called Ambience Pad 3 under the pads category. Next up, I added this violin sound, and it's from a contact library called Emotional Violin. And the preset that I'm using specifically is called Passionate Agile. And I played this melody using this violin instrument. So just to make the violin sound so emotional, I sent it to the mixer track and added some couple of reverb. And the reverb I used all through this beat is the Fola Vintage Verb, which is such an amazing reverb sound. So basically, we play all the sounds that I have added together. They're going to sound like this. So that's basically all the sounds I just showed you guys. Very quickly, I'm going to talk about the bass that I used in this song, and it is really one of my favorite part of this beat because I used it in the chorus, and it sounds like this basically. Yeah, so basically, this sound was gotten from a plugin called M1, and the preset I'm using is called Boost Sub Bass, which is such an amazing bass preset. And having used this in the verse, when the beat switched to the chorus part, I changed the bass sound to something not so punchy because a lot is actually going on in the chorus. So I really don't want to make that part so busy. So I switched to this bass guitar. And that was the bass that I used in the chorus. This bass sound was gotten from Arcade. And just in case you don't know, aside from the fact that Arcade give you some amazing loops and samples, you can also get instrument sounds like bass, guitar, piano, and all of that inside of Arcade. Now, moving over to the chorus section, I have some amazing melodies that I have played. One of it is this pizzicato sound, and it sounds like this. And that's one of them, accompanied with another melody sound that came in, at the B part of the chorus, and it sounds like this. And the sound I used for this synth that came in somewhere at the B part of the chorus is called Chariot On, also from Flex plugin, and it's more like a synth instrument. What I also did to this sound was to add in some reverb and some delay. And as I have said earlier, the reverb I'm using is the Vala Vintage Verb. Also, the delay I'm using is the stock delay inside of FL Studio, which is called Fruity Delay 3. And some of the sounds I used in the chorus, I already talked about them, like the guitar, and then the pad, and then the bass, and all together they sound like this. And I haven't talked about all of this. What I'll be talking about lastly is the drums. And what I did for the drums was just to use a drum loop from the Made in Lagos sample pack. And the specific drum loop that I use is called Arsenal drum loop that sounds like this. And what I did was I picked some of the stems because every of our sample comes with their stems with them. So I just picked some of the sounds in the stems like the hi-hat and the top loop and just layered it at the intro. And then when the verse started, I just used the full drum loop, which sounds like this. And when the beat got to the chorus, I added some extra percussions, and they sound like this with the drum loop. And that's pretty much everything I used in this beat, guys. And what I'll quickly talk about before playing a preview of this beat for you guys is the FX and the drum fuse used in this beat. The very first one is this reverse vocal sound, just for transition. And then next up, I have some rows that I also added at the transition to the chorus, and it sounds like this. And that's pretty much the transition and the drum fill sounds that I used on this beat. With all of this being said, guys, I will quickly play the beats from the intro to the chorus and let you guys take a listen. So that'll be all for this video, guys. If you find value in this video, ensure to click that like button. And if you are new to this channel, ensure to also subscribe and turn on notifications for subsequent updates from this channel. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.